Guys, what's up? Welcome to this first ever Just Ask Josh Q&A video session. Let's go. I'm Justaskjoshnorbido, magician, illusionist, performer. I've been putting up a lot of videos lately and you guys have been showing a lot of love, commenting on them, sometimes asking questions, and I can only dive so deep in the comment section. So I thought, why not connect one-on-one? I can really answer your questions properly. And if this is something that you enjoy, we can start doing this regularly, once a month or even once a week, depending on how much value I can help add to you. And these questions can be related to magic or to the business side of magic, doing things professionally, or how to approach certain types of effects. Or even if you have a completely different passion and you want to know how to start doing it full time, or thoughts on how to start approaching doing it for money, anything at all. It can be anything. Anything that I actually feel like I can give value on, I'm here to help. So without any further delay, I'm going to be answering every question that was asked on the post I put up just a few days back. Thank you so much if you got involved. Let's begin. All right, question number one comes from my boy MV. He asks, what are the best tips for performance anxiety, and what's your favorite opener if doing card magic? MV, great question, great question. I think it's something we all struggle with. If you are a magician as well, it's something at some point we've struggled with it, getting past that barrier of, all right, I've practiced a lot of magic, I feel confident about my magic. Now I want to start to show people. And once you've shown all your family and friends, then it's like, how do I get to show more people again? So if you're going super raw and doing street magic, whereas you're approaching full strangers that, you know, you're just fully interrupting their day and showing them something amazing, that first interaction can be very nerve-wracking. I know the feeling very well. I've also had to deal with it, and I know how you can get past it as well. So here are my main tips on that. So tip number one is always bring a friend with you. If you've been watching any of my street magic videos lately, you'll know that I'm not there by myself. I'm there with my boy Jason Maher, who is another magician, and we take turns at approaching people. That way it's a team effort, and if somebody says no, that they don't want to see magic, and they will sometimes, because people don't know what you mean sometimes when you say, can I entertain you? Can I show you magic? And some people just aren't having a good day. It has nothing to do with you, but they're just not in the mood. And if you're by yourself, you can take that very personally, and it can affect you, and it can stop you and hinder you from going out to ask more people. But if you're with someone else or in a group, it actually bounces off you, because they're saying no to both of you now, not just you individually. So you take it way less personally. So that's the first thing, is you need to have someone with you. Now, if where you live, you don't have another friend magician who will come out with you, it can just be a friend of yours. It doesn't have to be a magician. They can just go with you, they can support you. You can even warm up by showing them magic first. And sometimes what can happen is, if there is other people around and they're seeing you do magic to your friend, they'll watch on and they'll be like, oh, this is interesting, I want to see. And you can pick those people too, the people that are watching from a distance. And it's super easy to look at them and just go, oh, hello, can I show you as well? And they'll come over, and now you're doing street magic, now you're killing it, now it's really fun. But definitely doing it by yourself is very anxious, I agree. So MV, grab a friend and get out there and do some magic with them. A little tip you can use as well, if you're not really feeling comfortable yet to walk up to someone flat out and say, hey, can I show you magic? I'm a magician. You can actually do some cardistry or flourishes, you know, like card springs or fancy shuffles, or aerial shots, just so you can get people's attention. Because that's a really good way as well, is people love to look on and see things and then be invited. So if you think about it, like, you're already doing this thing and now they want to get involved, rather than you having to do all the selling and having to go up and explain yourself and hope that they say yes. In business, this is actually considered the difference between sales and marketing. You know, marketing is when they come to you because they see something you've put out, whereas sales is you having to completely cold go out and do it. Now, I know I'm bringing this back to my business roots a little bit here, but it's exactly the same. So MV, I hope that helps. Comment below if you have further questions on that. But that really is the best advice I would say to get you started. And if you're serious about it, you have to go out there and apply what I'm saying, and then come back and let me know your progress. All right, next question is from Chris Annabelle Magic. What up, Chris? Chris asks, what is your common everyday carry for magic? Meaning, what are the things you have on you ready to perform? Great question, Chris. I think everyone differs as well. By the way, if you're not a magician, I hope you find this somewhat interesting. But I'm going to put chapters in this video, so you can skip ahead if you want to jump to a different question. So Chris, everyday carry for magic. It's different if I'm performing at an event. Obviously, if I'm there, then I'm there to do magic specifically, and I'm wearing a suit, and it is a little bit different. But to answer your question of what, if I'm walking down the street, if I'm going to a restaurant or seeing a friend, what do I have on me? If you had asked me this 5 years ago, I would have said I have a deck of cards, I have rubber bands, I have 4 coins on me, I have a Sharpie, you know, I have all these things, a few gimmicks. I would have had all this stuff on me. But over time now, if I'm not at an event, I really don't carry a lot of magic on me, if anything, because I found now that I can rely more on just being interesting as a person myself, without having to show all of this stuff to people all the time to seek approval. I love performing magic, and I guess one thing that happens when you're performing full-time a lot is that you don't always feel that need to perform magic. You don't always need to feel that void because you're getting so much love and magic joy out of all of the actual events you're doing. So if I am going down the street or to a friend's house, I rarely will take a deck of cards with me now. Sometimes I will say I always keep a deck of cards in my car so that if someone does want to see something, I know I can get to my car pretty quickly. But from all the studying of magic I've done and learning, I know that if I can get my hand on a coin, like if I can borrow a coin, I can do a whole routine with that. If I can get someone's business card and a pen, I can do that whole routine. I'll usually have my own business cards on me. It's really more what we would call impromptu magic. So if I'm in a business, I would grab some of their rubber bands. And so it's more about finding things that are around me rather than carrying stuff on me myself. So as far as an everyday carry case, it's very, very minimal these days. You know, if I am going out to do street magic and film it with my boy Jason Maher, then I will take a deck of cards and a coin and a Sharpie. And that's really it, because there's so much you can do with just those things. So I hope that helps, Chris. Thanks for the question. Next question is from Gabriel B. Magic. I just started to get into propless mentalism. Have you dabbled in that? Well, Gabriel, that's a fun path you are dabbling down, my friend. Propless mentalism, what that means is being able to do mind reading looking illusions and effects without having any actual physical things on you, like things where people write down stuff or any sneaky mechanisms or anything like that. Just you being able to walk up and read someone's mind without anything on you. So I love this field of magic, Gabriel, because obviously it means that it's something you can have in your repertoire that's always on you. You never have to have anything physical with you to perform it. So there are some pieces that I perform. One of them I'll say is PK touch. So when you can create the sensation that someone's feeling you tap them without you actually being near them. There are some mind reading effects, or I would say not mind reading, but some mentalism effects, especially with numbers and things like that. Getting people to think of a certain number, trying to divine what it is, doing that completely propless. It can be difficult because it is completely dependent on your wordplay and what you're saying and reading the body language of that person. So it can be challenging at times, and also challenging to make it entertaining. But definitely it's something that I dabble in, and I have a few specific pieces that I will use. But I will say keep at it, because if you can create a repertoire of magic without needing props, then you can go a long way, and you'll always have such a large repertoire on you at all times. All right, next question is from Tony Varga, and this is very similar to another question that was asked from Marvel Monk. So I'm going to answer both of them in this one video, because they are very similar but very important questions. So Tony asked, how and when did you get into magic, and what were you doing as a day job at that time? Really good question. And Marvel asked, have you always intended to make magic your career? And were you ever close to settling for a normal career? If so, what stopped you? So Marvel and Tony, thank you so much. They're really good questions, and really kind of serious questions as well. I suppose I always had an interest in magic, like I think we all did. What actually happened that got me properly interested in it, like really diving and learning proper techniques and stuff, is when I was 19 years old, I was casted into a TV show, a TV series called K9, which is a spin-off of Doctor Who. And that show was super fun to be a part of. But what I didn't know, because I had a day job, which I'll get into in a second. When I got casted for this, I left that job to pursue this. And one thing I didn't know about a TV set is that there's so much downtime. Like, you're there for a whole day, 8+ hours, sometimes 10, 11, 12 hours. But you're only actually working on the set for maybe 1 or 2 of those hours. So every day for 6 months, you have to fill this time of like 6 hours where there's nothing happening. Like, you put on your costume and everything, you've done makeup, and then you wait. The famous line is hurry up and wait. Anyone who's done any kind of acting or filming knows exactly what that means. But basically you have to find things to keep you interested. Now, I had always known one particular card trick that would impress people. I learned it from a magic kit I was given when I was 12. And I actually put a tutorial about this video on the old channel I used to work with called Free Magic Life. I'll put the actual card trick itself in the link description below if you want to learn it, because I think everyone should know one party trick, whether you're a magician or not. So I knew this one great card trick, it would fool everyone. And I started to do this card trick to the people in the TV set. So the video crew, the gaffer crew, you know, the people that are backstage doing stuff behind the scenes. There's a lot of people on a set. So I started to show people this one card trick, and word got around that I was doing it and people really loved it. But by the end of the first week, I'd kind of shown everyone. So the next week came and they asked me, someone came back and asked me, oh, I love that card trick you did. What else can you show me? And I was like, that's it. That's actually the only thing I know. And that one little moment, that one little spark is what ignited the rest of my, what would be, career. I went home that day and I started Googling like other card tricks, or where can I learn other things. I started to find material, like different like books I can start buying to learn this stuff, like Card College and the Royal Road to Card Magic, things I'd never even heard of. But I started to dive down this path, and slowly but surely I started to add more card tricks into my repertoire, and I would start showing the crew on set. And word got around and people enjoyed it. And I started to feel that euphoria of, wow, people are getting joy out of what I'm doing. It was really infectious and really addictive. So I started to learn more, and then I started diving into coin magic. And before you know it, at the end of the 6 months, I had learned so much magic that I still use today, that have just pathed away for the rest of my career. So anyway, that's what really began my interest in magic. That really sparked the way for everything that followed. Now, I didn't become a full-time magician straight away. For a couple of years after that, still just dabbled in it. I was working on it really hard, and I even filmed my first ever little street magic special. Not even a street magic special, just a little 5-minute, street magic video. And from there, it was a massive passion. I just somehow wanted to keep doing it more and more. And at my 21st birthday, a professional magician named PD Magic, who is a brother of mine now, was hired to perform at my birthday. And at that time, my magic levels were getting quite up there. It'd been 2 years now, I've been practicing pretty hard. And when he met me and realized the skill level I had, he then introduced me to the magic community. And he explained that people will actually pay you to do this. And from there, that was it. That was the decision made. I was like, I need to figure out how I can do this as a job, so I'm never feeling like I'm working. Now, that's a funny thing to say, because in reality, you do have to actually work pretty hard to make it your full-time living. So there is a lot of work involved, but the fun part is when you're actually going to the event, so it's completely worth it, as opposed to working every day to help make someone else rich. And then I would say about a year later, I did my first ever paid gig, a real paid gig for a wedding anniversary. I got paid $100, and I used 50 of those dollars to bring a videographer along to film it, because I already knew in my head I wanted to start getting promo content for it, to be able to promote myself to do more events. And from there, I had a day job in the meantime. So at that point in time, I was a sales manager at a fitness club, because I did my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness thinking I would become a personal trainer. Little did I know that was just the beginnings for me to learn how to talk and communicate with people as a skill, but really move it into the world of magic. So now, I've been doing magic professionally for about 8 years, but the first 2 of those years were done doing magic part-time. Like anything good, like any new business, nothing starts from 0 to 100 in a second. So I spent 2 years doing gigs while still working a 38-hour normal full-time job and doing my gigs on the weekend. I would stay up very late to work on my magic skills and try to build like a website and email places to see where I can start performing, which is another genre altogether. If you want to know how to start getting work as a magician or to start performing as a professional magician, drop me a comment below if that's something you're interested in as well. But I was doing the actual hustle without knowing back then that hustle was cool. I just knew I wanted to keep doing magic, and I also couldn't help myself but keep doing magic. So I would do all of these events and stuff slowly but surely on the weekend, and then I'd spend my whole week doing my day job, but I was loving it, I was loving it. Now towards the end of those 2 years, I ended up working for a company that sells big industrial printers, a very, very salesy type job. I was quite good at it, but I was never quite fully committed to it because I always had in the side of my mind magic and to check my business emails to see if new inquiries had come in. But I was always very efficient in getting my work done, and even more so for this sales job, I started to do magic in my meetings to break the ice. So magic was really becoming a full circle thing, even in the day job that I had. Now I had this beautiful moment where my boss sat me down and he was ready to give me a promotion. He sat me down and it was the pivotal moment of my career, going from one place to another. He sat me down and he said, "Josh, we want to give you a promotion. We love what you're doing. We love your enthusiasm. But there's something that you're not quite committing to, and we think it's because you work on a casual basis. So we want to give you a full-time job here with a great salary, but you got to stop taking days off to do this magic stuff. You got to commit to this job 100%. Now to most people that would be the most amazing thing ever, but for me it really made me question myself and my goals and my life and what I really want to get out of it. And I knew that it wasn't doing this job as a full-time thing without doing any magic. And the amazing thing was that in this 2-year period, my magic and my clients that booked me for magic were starting to build up to a point where I was now fortunate to be earning more in the magic bookings than I was in the day job that I was working, 4 days a week doing. These 3 days a week I could earn way more money, but also have way more fun as well. So to keep a long story short, that was still pretty long, I took the plunge, and from that pivotal moment where I have the email that I sent them to say this would be my last working week, I've never looked back, and I've been doing magic full-time ever since. And the beautiful thing is, the more effort you put into it, the busier and busier you get, and it snowballs to a point where I could not even have the time to do another kind of job. All right, so last 2 questions. Justine asked, how did you become very good friends with Mr. Jason Maher? So a lot of you know Jason from the hashtag 365 squad. Awesome guy. I'm just gonna answer that by showing you our first ever video.
Anyway, hi guys, so I'm Jason, this is Josh, and we're going to do a magic trick for the camera for you guys, okay? Are you ready? I want you to just, I'm going to do this, okay? And I just want you to see and remember one card, okay? Not this one on top, that'd be too easy, okay? You ready? Did you get one?
Did they get one? Did you get one? I hope you got one, because I'm going to try and find it. The sums are from your brain, if you watch the deck. It will isolate one card only.
Josh, let's do the kings.
Let's take this a step further. Queens love kings. If you can get a shot of this on 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey, that's my card, man. So that video was like 8 years ago, back to when I was explaining about when I first started wanting to do magic seriously. We both started almost from the same position, wanting to start doing our professions. I went more into the corporate world, he went more into the street magic world, and we've come full circle. We're still shooting magic, but still killing it in our own avenues. He's an awesome dude. And very last question, which is funny to end on, is Christopher Richie's asked, where can you find a really good friend and stagehand who can read your mind easily for what you need? And also, do you have one? If so, who? Now Chris is asking that because Chris is my stagehand when I do my stage shows. He manages my stage props, he runs things during the show, and he always knows what I need before I need it. So Chris is also an amazing magician, and we've been working together for quite a while now. Chris, I love you. Thank you for putting that question down. But it's also worth saying you need to have the right people in your crew, in your team. If you have someone filming you doing magic, if you have someone helping you with social media, or someone's teaching you magic, it's really important to have supportive people who are honest and who you can trust. So Chris, thanks for the question. So that's it. Thank you for sitting through this first episode of Just Ask Josh. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoy this format or if you'd like to see more of these. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, or at least my next video. But for now, I'll see you next time. See ya.